Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Your Health is Your Wealth on Inspire 105.1 FM, and I am your host, Sister Shigufta. Firstly, I would like to say to everyone who's tuned in, Jazakallah khairan for tuning in, and inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also accept your fasts, prayers, and all of your ibadah that you're doing. Ameen. Now, the topic for today is the spiritual and physical benefits of fasting, and it's also really good because it's about balancing the spiritual practices with modern health insights, because we know that fasting is a time for spiritual growth, but it's also essential to take care of our bodies. So let's explore how we can make this month, inshallah, a time of physical and spiritual nourishment as well. So I will be speaking about spiritual and physical benefits, also about nutrition and hydration tips during Ramadan, and how to manage energy levels and mental health, and also just a little reminder at the end to conclude the show, inshallah. But I just pray that everybody is feeling really good by now, because now it's day 6 or 7 for many of us, and by now you're getting used to it for sure. However, I know for some people it can still be a bit difficult, especially the first sort of week, and for some people it's absolutely a breeze, subhanallah. Now, that doesn't mean that if it's a bit difficult for you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala isn't seeing that. As long as you're trying your best, this is the main thing, and with a little hardship, as long as it's not causing you any physical stress or strain or causing you any hardship, then we continue. Of course, you know that your health obviously comes first, and if during fasting there are any problems, if you are feeling dizzy, if you're almost feeling very unwell, or you've got some sort of severe pain, then don't force yourself to continue, because at the end of the day you might harm yourself more than do some good. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made an exception for those who are going through hardship and difficulty, that you are able to break your fast if needed. And if you're unsure, just speak to a health professional or an imam if you're unsure what is right or what isn't. But let's move on to the topic now, inshallah. So I want to talk a bit about what is Sawm in Islam. And yes, you understand the concept of fasting. Sawm in Islam, or fasting, it's definitely, most all Muslims should know it's one of the 5 pillars of Islam, and it's a crucial act of devotion and spiritual training. Fasting is a practice to avoid food, liquids, and other necessities of life from Fajr, sunrise, to sunset, Maghrib, during the holy month of Ramadan. It's also to, for physical restraints. Sawm, fasting, emphasizes self-control, mental purification, and this heightened devotion to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It also teaches empathy for others who are less fortunate. It also creates gratitude and also fortifies community bonds. And Islam teaches, alternative forms of compensation. For example, as I said, those who are ill, pregnant, or even traveling or otherwise unable to fast. There is that compassion that we should have for each other. Now, the spiritual and physical benefits are quite important to understand. Now, the benefits of Sawm in Islam are extremely beneficial, both spiritually and practically, but it actually also enhances a Muslim's faith daily. And some of them are, for example, your spiritual development. By promoting prayer, it makes you look internally, and a heightened sense of devotion is strengthened. Your bond with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, especially when you go for your Taraweeh prayer. Most of you maybe going to the masjid, but some people will be praying at home, especially the sisters. And I know there are some mosques that are also open to women, alhamdulillah, but wherever you can, obviously do pray, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it. The other benefit is self-discipline. When you fast, it fortifies this character by teaching you self-control, patience, and the capacity to withstand temptation. Empathy for the needy. Direct experience with hunger and thirst increases empathy, and also it motivates you to give more to those in need. Gratitude. So gratitude, refusing material luxuries. For example, what you might be having in your daily sort of life. Some people might be going out to eat normally, or getting their favourite drink or something. And now in the month of Ramadan, during the fasting hours, you won't be doing that. So you're also very grateful for the simple things, especially when you break your fast. Water, for example. Sometimes we take this amazing drink as for granted, but subhanallah, it's one of the best drinks to have after a long day of fast, subhanallah. Also to your health, when you do it correctly, fasting actually helps the body detox, it increases your metabolism and your general well-being. Also unity, taking part in Sawm with the Muslim community around locally, nationally, internationally, the world, it promotes this feeling of purpose and, the same goal. And forgiveness of sins. Fasting during Ramadan is regarded as a chance to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness, confessing your sins to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and achieving that spiritual purification. So these, were just some of the benefits of Sawm. It enriches both spiritual and worldly dimension of Muslims' life. It also increases taqwa, and this is bewaring of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the central focus. Whatever you do, He is seeing and watching us and hearing us at all times. So this should make you want to have better self-control, because you're aware that Allah is watching you, hearing you, He's around. So you'll be in your best behavior, as in you will, think well, you will speak well, you will look at good things, you will say good things. That's the idea of gaining taqwa, is improving oneself, and you will not do wrong things. That's the idea of being a true Muslim, a true believer, because your daily life is based around Allah's presence, and that's what essentially we should all be increasing in our taqwa. And Sawm, fasting, is basically showing submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and their readiness to put His will above our own. And this will, you have a deeper connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And fasting actually helps develop this a lot easier when you're fasting. There's a lot of science behind this, and there's a lot of spirituality behind this. And remember, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us as an instruction to do, it's only for the benefit of us. Now I'm just going to talk a bit about the health benefits or healthy Ramadan and nutrition in a moment. There's something I want to talk about. When we fast, there is something called autophagy, and maybe some of you have heard of this word, autophagy, which actually means, auto means self and phagy means eat, autophagy, so it literally means self-eating. It's basically the body's way of cleaning out damaged cells in order to regenerate newer, healthier cells. And it might sound like, self-eating sounds like something you don't want to happen to your body, but it's actually quite beneficial to your health. That's because autophagy is this self-preservation mechanism through which the body can remove the dysfunctional cells and recycle parts of them towards cellular repair and cleaning them. And the way to get this done is actually fasting. Fasting is the most effective way to trigger autophagy. So this is what is one of the benefits that can happen, is that you get cellular repair, which if fasting isn't done, then you can imagine there's all these cells in the body that is just sitting around, going to cause all sorts of problems, inflammation, if it hasn't been cleared, subhanAllah. So this is just one of the benefits you can get. So during the fasting hours, when there's no food or drink, the body uses the stores of the carbohydrates stored in the liver and muscles and fat to provide the energy once all the calories from the foods consumed during the night have been used up. The body cannot store water, so the kidneys conserve as much water as possible by reducing the amount lost in urine. However, the body cannot avoid losing some water when you go to the toilet, through your skin, or when you breathe or sweat if it's quite warm. Again, depending on the weather, some days are a little bit warmer, and the length of the fast. Most people who fast during Ramadan will experience mild dehydration, which actually can cause headaches and tiredness and difficulty concentrating, especially in the first few days. But studies also suggest that this is not harmful to the health, provided that enough fluids are consumed during the non-fasting hours, of course, and you're replacing them during the time between iftar and suhoor. However, if you're unable to stand up due to dizziness, as I said, or you're disorientated, then you should urgently drink. You should break the fast to replace that, and drink moderate quantities of water, something with a bit of sugar and salt, because that will rehydrate you properly. Again, if you feel faint due to dehydration, then your legs should be raised above your head. If you can't do it yourself, then ensure someone else can help you with that, and you should gently rehydrate, as I've just mentioned. For those who normally consume caffeinated drinks like tea and coffee during the day, the lack of caffeine during the fast may initially lead to headaches and tiredness, but over the course of Ramadan, the body will adjust to it, and then you won't need it really in the day. Once the fast is broken, the body can rehydrate and gain energy from the foods and drinks consumed. Having not eaten for a long period, you may find it helpful to eat slowly, and not sort of eat everything in one go. So perhaps breaking your fast with water, dates and water, gently, then perhaps going to pray your Maghrib prayer, and then coming back perhaps to eat your main meal. If you want to do it like that, it's kind of better like that. Everyone is slightly different, and a lot of people say they feel really full quite quickly, but this is common and normal because your stomach does shrink, obviously, due to fasting. Now, drinking plenty of fluids, as well as consuming fluid-rich foods like fruit, vegetables, yogurt, soups and stews, really important to replace fluids during the day. Salt stimulates the thirst, so it's a good idea to avoid consuming a lot of salty foods. And again, the suhoor pre-dawn meal, make sure that there's plenty of fluids and energy for the day ahead. And for iftar, it's really good to have water, because this provides a perfect hydration without any calories or added sugars. Drinks based on milk and fruit provide some natural sugars. They're also good to break the fast, but avoid drinking a lot of drinks with added sugars after breaking fast, because they can provide too much sugars and calories. Dates, of course, these are the favorite to sort of eat and break your fast with, as our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has taught us that dates are a good way to break our fast. They give you quick energy, minerals, they have potassium, copper, manganese, and excellent source of fiber. There are other dried fruits like apricots, figs and raisins as well, which provide fibre and nutrients. Fruits really good as well to have as well when you open your fast. And soup, they're really good, especially in many Arab countries. It's a light way to break the fast. It's got the fluid and it's got often things like pulses, lentil and beans. Again, these are really, really good for good nutrition. So it is important that there are, obviously everyone has different cultural, traditional meals that people will eat, but as long as they include things like whole grains, vegetables, some dairy, protein-rich foods, so fish, eggs, different types of beans and things, as long as you have a balanced meal, that is good, and avoiding the too many fried items or sugary foods. That's the thing. So no one's saying don't have that, just don't have it in excess, and be balanced in what you have, as of course the whole day's fast can go to nothing if you start having too many fried foods, because it can cause all the other problems actually as well. For sahur, the pre-dawn meal, drink plenty of fluids, choose fluid-rich foods that make sure that they keep you hydrated. Go for starchy foods for energy, high fibre, whole grain varieties where you can. For example, oats, they're really good because they're whole grains. You could choose porridge, or then you can make it with milk, water. Overnight oats, really, a lot of people try that. You could add chia seeds, maybe dates in there, some nuts and honey if you want. Cereals, again, high fibre breakfast cereals are good as well, because you can get some calcium in there and some whole grain fibre as well. Starchy foods like rice, couscous as well. This is something that you can have as well. Yogurt is really good. It's a good source of calcium, protein as well, and you can add different types of fruit or nut in that as well. Also, I would like to just add a few tips of some sort of do's and don'ts of Ramadan. Include foods from all groups like whole grain, cereals, pulses, legumes, skimmed milk, lean meat, chicken, fish, lots of vegetables and fruits. Also, do not sleep immediately after dinner, because this can cause indigestion, maybe acidity, gastric disturbance, uneasiness. Give 2 or 3 hour gaps. After breaking the fast, as I said, eat foods in small intervals. The other important thing is, please don't eat so fast. Chew your food properly. It's really important to do that. And when you drink your water, again, it's a sunnah to sip instead of gulping as well. So make sure you have it in sips. Consume low glycemic index fruits like apple, papaya, guava, pomegranate, to avoid a sudden increase in blood sugars. Actually, that's why it's really important. And limit the intake of fats and sugars. Adding more water and whole grain bread to the diet can help individuals overcome many of the problems like constipation, indigestion, bloating, fatigue, low blood pressure, headaches, and loss of concentration. Some people do need multivitamin supplements to avoid weakness, so that would be a good idea. If you aren't sure, then speak to your GP or pharmacist. Ideally, the meal should remain a meal and not like a huge feast. That's one of the main things that you want to ensure. Some tips just to remember is eat whole, unprocessed foods. Avoid the binge eating like later into the night. Avoiding junk foods. Drinking lots of water, and then do simple workouts as well. Just go for a little walk or read extra nafil prayers as well if you need to. The other thing is that don't become inactive during Ramadan, and equally don't go and start exercising excessively where and where you're fasting, where you could dehydrate and you can't drink anything, it could cause more harm than good. So be active, but as long as you're able to do that. For example, going for walks after iftar if you can. Also cooking healthy, try to grill, boil, or bake something as opposed to deep fry and things like that. And just make sure your intentions are always checked, that you are doing this for the right reason and that you are preparing to have a healthy Ramadan as well. I'd just like to talk a little bit about your mental health and Ramadan. Look after your physical health, so eat healthy, eat a balanced diet, because food can affect your mood. Don't forget to drink water, stay hydrated. The other important part is look after your sleep. Nighttime prayer and timings for eating during the nighttime hours can also impact on your sleep. So you need to make sure you are mindful of this, and you time everything so that you are also taking breaks during the day if you can. If you're not working, or if you're studying, if you're able to have that afternoon nap, then please go for it. If not, then just try your best to have a rest when you come home. Again, connecting with others like family, friends and community, this also helps with your mental health and well-being, because it creates this happier, physically and mentally. You feel a lot better, and there is evidence to suggest that people who are connected to family and friends and the community do live a lot longer and are happier, physically healthier as well. And during Ramadan, it's a great place. The mosque is a great place for people to come together. Whether you come alone or with others, you go for your prayers, and it's a good time for everyone. If you're not able to go to the mosque, then there are a lot of things now online, on TV, on the radio, where you can listen to Inspire FM, for example, Your Health is Your Wealth, and all the other shows. Alhamdulillah, do take advantage of it. Talk to people if you're struggling or if you need help, because talking does help especially to a trusted person. There's plenty of help online as well. For example, if you just go on mind.org, for example, and be kind and do good deeds, because when you actually help others, you also feel good about yourself. So you could volunteer, give to a charity, help your friends, family or neighbours, share food with others, donate to food banks, helping out, even just anything, but random acts of kindness. This is something that you could do as well. Writing down your reflections, feelings as well. Doing plenty of zikr in your spare time, and again, set realistic goals. Don't compare yourself to others. Keep an open mind to learning as well. If someone else is reading a lot more Quran pages than you and you're unable to, don't feel saddened by this, because you're not in their shoes, they're not in yours. Just accept what you have and try your best. So just a reminder of what fasting can do for you. Fasting isn't just about physical, but also spiritual exercise that has so many lasting benefits. Number one, the heightened consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It helps you become less preoccupied with bodily appetites, and gives the heart and mind freedom to reflect on deeper spiritual matters, such as your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and with fellow human beings. It enables you to develop this sustained consciousness, taqwa. This is the ultimate goal of fasting. Again, number two, a healthy lifestyle. A fasting person learns restraint and only responds to hunger and thirst in the heightened level of consciousness and discipline. So through fasting, you begin to appreciate the value of food. In the Quran, healthy and wholesome food is described as the best of provisions. So fasting helps a person to choose a healthier lifestyle by making small yet lasting changes in the diet. Compassion and charity, community spirit. A fast without spirit is empty of blessings, for example. So we really do have to look at ourselves. Are we also improving ourselves with certain traits that we may have or possess that need changing? For example, we should focus on trying to do things that will improve and continue after Ramadan. Fasting is much more than just about giving up food and drink, and or thinking it's a weight loss gain or something like that. It's not. It's more than that. It's about character building as well, and that's what I pray, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants us tawfiq to act in the best manner and accept our fast and ibadah. Until next week, take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.